Hello everyone, you're welcome to the second webinar series by Jobberman. My name is Amaka Okwuashi, Head of Human Resources at Jobberman. And today I'll be talking about ways organizations can attract and retain productive employees. I have some items I'll be sharing here. First, I'll be talking about Jobberman, giving a brief background about Jobberman and how we started and where we are currently. Secondly, I'll be talking about employee retention. What is employee retention and why is it important to retain employees in a workplace? Fourthly, I'll be talking about employee turnover and cost analysis. What happens when employees leave your company too frequently, the effect it has on the business. Lastly, I'll be talking about employees and what they really want. And then we'll conclude and call it a day. I hope you have an insightful session and I'll try as much as possible to make this really concise and brief. Okay, so let's start. So about Jobberman. Jobberman started in 2009 by three amazing guys, Opeleko and Deji. At the time we had just 5 registered candidates on the portal, but now we have over 2 million registered candidates, ranging from different sectors in the country. For employers, we have over 45,000 employers registered on the portal currently, ranging from tier 1 companies to SMEs. Yes, and so let's just go straight to employee retention. What is employee retention? And why is it important for companies to retain employees? So this is it, right? Employee retention is a strategy and the ability of an organization to retain its best employees. Thereby, of course, when you retain your best employees, you're in turn reducing your turnover rate. Okay, and why it's a strategy is because you try to make sure that you're doing everything possible to ensure that your employees are happy. Same way organizations have strategies in place to meet organizational goals, it is also a strategy to ensure that your employees are happy, and of course you're in turn meeting organizational goals. This simply means that if your employees are happy, they are going to work with you to ensure that organizational goals are met, and which also make you happy as a business. Why is it important to retain employees in the workplace? Number one, employees are the soul of your business. If you have a vision, you need your employees to drive that vision for you. Yes, and it is really important that you keep these employees that need to drive your visions for you happy. Once they're happy, they will do anything for you, and they will ensure that your business vision and goals are actually met as well. Employee turnover is too costly for an organization. Imagine having employees that leave your organization every month or every year. It's actually very expensive because the time and the cost of replacing that employee is going to be higher than the cost you would incur spend making them happy. Finding suitable replacements for key employees is difficult. In Nigeria today, we have a lot of job seekers out there, and these job seekers are most of them are actually not competent. So it is really important that if you find a competent job seeker, find a competent employee to work with you, you do everything possible to make them happy, because you might not find that person again, and even if you do, the person might not be as good as his predecessor. So it is really important that you don't even take chances. Try to ensure that if you find out that an employee is really productive and competent with you, you try to make him stay and make him happy at all times. Constantly training new employees is a waste of time and resources. Do not forget, we're still talking about the importance of employee retention, why it is really important to retain employees in the workplace. It is important because if you let them go, the cost of training new employees is actually more. It's a waste of time, waste of resources, having to hire new employees and train them. They need to first of all get trained, get aligned with your business goals, get aligned with your culture, get aligned with everything before they become productive. And it's actually more time consuming trying to get them to get into that phase, of your business. And then lastly, you can't build a long-lasting business without consistency. This simply means that if your employees leave too frequently, it's going to slow down the progress of your business. And yes, you actually actually can't build a long-lasting business without consistency. If you have to change staff at all times, it would slow down the progress of your business. Okay, so I'll be talking about employee turnover and its cost to the business. I already mentioned that it is actually too costly, for an organization to have a high turnover rate. Okay, so what is turnover? Turnover is the number or percentage of workers or employees that leave your business and are replaced by new ones. This simply means that if your turnover rate is high, it means that your business needs you need to sit down and have a reviewed strategy on how to keep employees. How do you calculate turnover? Turnover is calculated by number one, the number of separated employees you have over the average number of employees you have. So if that number is high, then I think you need to have a reviewed strategy on employee retention. If it's low, then you're doing well as a business. Research has shown that turnover cost of one employee is between 20% to 200% of annual salary, and I think that is really high. So it is better and safer and more cost effective to actually maintain the productive employees you have than hiring new ones. That's what we're saying in summary. Lastly, I'm going to be talking about what employees really want. So I'll be dividing this into two sections. You have employer branding. Employer branding, like I mentioned, is an indirect sell to attract potential employees. Number one is corporate social responsibility. People are more attracted to companies that care about their society. So another way you can attract employees is by, CSR. What does that company do for the society? And when it's obvious that a company is actually giving back to the society, people would naturally want to get attracted or get associated with such company. Secondly, I'll be talking about public perception on the streets in terms of prestige. A lot of financial institutions are good places to work. A lot of people are attracted to financial institutions. This is because they believe that financial institutions actually treat their staff well. When you see them on the streets, knotted in their blazers and suits, and then their fancy cars, it just shows that, or tells you that the financial institutions are treating them right. For example, there's a particular financial institution that give their entry-level staff brand new cars. When people see this, they're automatically attracted to such companies and want to work for a company like that. And general technology used. For example, Microsoft, Google, these are everyday technology that people use, or brands that people use, And if you see, brands like that, most people are attracted to them because of how often they use technologies like that and brands like that, And thirdly, engagement with government. Most productive or competent employees are attracted to companies that have engagement with government because it's assumed that they're actually doing very well, and yes, they want to work with every productive employee, or every employee generally wants to work with companies that are doing well, that are not going to fold up in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, And so, yes, that's for employer branding. I'm going to go straight to the employee value proposition. Employee value proposition, simply put, is benefits for value added. So what are employees getting, for the value they're adding to your organization? This is what it typically means, And that being said, benefits, it is really important for companies to adhere to the statutory demands on benefits that are associated with employees, like the pensions, HMOs, NSITFs and all that. Those are statutory, So outside the statutory fringe benefits, what else do you offer your employees? Some companies are really particular about work-life balance. Employees love that. Employees love an organization that they work for that would also give them time to do other stuff outside work. That's work-life balance. And some companies actually have gym time, at the workplace. After working for a few hours, you could go to the gym, work out a bit. These employees love companies that are particular about their fitness and well-being, as a whole. That's really important. And for working mothers, some companies have the crèche, at the office, where you can easily put your child. Yes, people love that as well, and people would automatically get attracted to companies that actually have such incentives or initiatives in place. Yes, for that have work-life balance in their schedule. Like, okay, yes, so I work for you. This is what I do, but okay, I also need to have time for myself. And employees are typically attracted to companies like that encourage work-life balance in some way. Then coaching and regular feedback on performance. For productive employees, they need to be sure that, yes, they're actually doing the right thing. So when you give them regular feedback on their performance, they are happy and they would want to do more. It is really confusing sometimes for employees, when they work, and they're not getting feedback like, okay, I'm actually doing the right thing. Are you happy with what I'm doing? Am I adding value? It's really important that you give them this feedback. It also help them, become better people, in the workplace as well. Then recognition. Everybody would love a pat on the back for a job well done. It is really important that you recognize your staff that have done well. Tell them thank you. It is really extremely important. Tell them thank you. Tell them even a good job, a simple good job, well done, would actually do a lot of magic. These simple things really matter to these employees. Recognition, put them in your newsletters and all that. It is really important. Clearly defined KPIs. You need to also ensure that employees have clearly defined KPIs. This simply means that tell them in clear terms what they are meant to do, how they are meant to do what they are meant to do. It is extremely important, And promotion. Every productive employee, competent employee needs to see that, yes, needs to see that it's actually working. Promotions are very important. Every employee needs promotions. You promote them. They do not like that they are working their asses off and they are being stuck in a particular level of grade. A promotion is automatically a motivation for every employee. And then organizational stability. Every company would typically just stay with a company that is stabilized, that is stable, And stability means most of the time it's financial stability. I don't want to work in a company that I see or envisage would fold up in the next 5 years. So it means that I need to start working out my exit plans. When companies show that they are not stable, you automatically lose competent employees. That's because they do not want to be there when you're folding up. They actually want to just move to a better organization that is more stable. And lastly, training to augment knowledge is extremely important. Yes, employees are actually, the competent ones are actually very knowledgeable. They would appreciate trainings, more training to actually augment their knowledge. This is extremely important as well. And once you do that, it just simply means that, okay, yes, the company has the employee in mind, and yes, they would, any employee would appreciate a company that encourages his career development, And lastly, I'll conclude by saying that in all you do, in all strategies that are put in place to make employees happy, they must align with the organizational goals. That's extremely important. Secondly, companies should understand what employees want. The employee needs are actually very different, and they vary from one individual to another. So it is really important that at all times, organizations should carry out employee survey to understand what they want. The mistake that most companies make is that they feel all employees want is money, and then they monetize these incentives. It's not all about money. Sometimes it's, like I mentioned earlier, a simple well done, thank you for a job well done will do the trick. So you need to understand what is important to each individual in your company and try to put strategies in place to make them happy. And at the end, you'd be meeting your organizational goals. I hope I have been able to, give you some insights on what employees want and how to attract and retain employees in a workplace. Feel free to reach out to us at Jobberman. You can send an email to info@jobberman.com and we'll always respond to you. I remain Amaka Okwuashi, Head of Human Resources, and I hope you have a good day.